Did I even press record? Oh my gosh. Oh, I am recording. Hey peeps, welcome back to the channel. This is gonna be a sit and sip type video. I remember that earlier I was trying to do tea. I'm not a tea person, I'm more of a kombucha girl. This is the blueberry ginger kombucha flavor, which I really enjoy. So we switched from tea to kombucha. So in today's video, I want to talk about my big reset because I was living this like super, let me get comfortable. I was living this super sporadic, really random life, and it was stressing me out, y'all. I was stressed to the point where I had to take a break from social media. I had to disappear off the face of the earth because I just couldn't seem to get my rhythm. And I took about 30 days off social media, and in that time, I decided to reevaluate my life and do a big reset. So if you know, on my channel, I have something that is the Do Better series. I'll put the playlist there so you can see it. But the Do Better series is all about self-improvement. So I have a Do Better video about funds and finances and things like that. But this time around, I wanted to do better in all areas of my life. So that means I went back to therapy. That means I was watching my finances again. I just noticed I have some really like not great habits when I'm super stressed out. I don't know if this is the right time to say this, but whenever I get super stressed out, this is a stress coping mechanism from back in my teacher days. I go to the dollar store and just stress shop because I'm like, oh, it's only $1. It's not a big deal. Before, when I was a teacher, I used to go to the Dollar Tree. And now that I'm a grown-up and, you know, doing other things, not that teachers aren't grown-ups, but now that I'm in a different profession and make a little bit more, I go to the 99 cents only store, which is not only 99 cents stuff, it's like more than 99 cents. It's similar things, wider range. I have a video where I went there. So anyway, they're all over the city of Houston. But I noticed I started looking at my budget and I was stress shopping. I was like at the Dollar Tree or the 99 cents only store like once a week. Or if I'm not at the dollar store in some way, I'm at Aldi grocery shopping and buying like 2 things. On one week, I think I was at the grocery store maybe 3 times. I'm like, I'm not grocery shopping, I'm people watching and stress shopping. So those are all cues to me that I was not taking care of myself. So I said, it's time for a Do Better Reset. So you might be thinking, like, what does that even mean? What's a Do Better Reset? I actually got really very type A about this. Remember when I said I thought I was a laid back person and I'm really not? Yeah. So this is showing up in the way that I get myself back together. So I have a really great planner. I should have pulled this up before I started recording this video. I promise this is just kombucha and nothing else. I don't drink. I just am finally feeling like myself again. Just sometimes when you're just stressed out and not operating with good boundaries, you just find that you are like stressed out for no reason. And so I finally feel like I'm getting a handle on myself. So let me look at my Notion. Okay, I have something called Goal Setting 2021, and that is part of my Do Better Reset. This was a game changer for me. Let me explain. I was taking projects here and there. The way my mind works is that I have so many creative ideas that sometimes come to me at like 2 a.m. in the morning. And I will wake up and I'll do the creative idea and I'll be up all night. I usually fall asleep very easily unless I'm doing a creative project. Then I can stay up all night and do whatever I need to do. But I realized that's not good for my health. I wasn't sleeping in general. I was waking up to journal, to pray, to create all this stuff. And I realized I need to get some sleep. So part of my Do Better, just very practical things for my body, I started doing consistent morning walks. Houston rain is trying to kill my vibe right now because it's been raining all month. We're in the month of July in 2021. It's been raining all month. And I was saying to myself, like, man, I really want to get out. And so when it was, I think all throughout most of the spring, I was going out for walks because I like to do a lot of self-talk. Why am I even telling you all this? Anyway, self-talk is really important to me. So sometimes when I'm wearing my mask and I put my headphones on, I turn on my voice memo. and I do a little bit of self-talk in the morning. I give myself a pep talk. I listen to podcasts. I just reflect on how I'm feeling. It's something that I use in tandem with journaling. So journaling, I would write down my thoughts, but if I'm doing self-talk, I will speak out loud. I'm very careful to wear a mask so no one thinks I'm not all there. So mental health is something that's really important to me. So I want to make sure I'm touching base with myself. So sometimes every time after I journal, I will journal and read my thoughts just to make sure that I'm making sense and not making stuff up. Because you know, sometimes something will happen in your day and you'll reflect on it and you'll say, yeah, that person just doesn't like me. Is that based on fact, or are you just in your feelings, in your chest, and making incorrect assumptions that have no basis? So I like to always go back and reflect on how I was feeling to say, okay, does that really chart with what actually is happening, or am I making up stuff? And so I love to call myself out. I love to be really real with myself. I'm practicing a lot of self-compassion, which is what my therapist is helping me with. I can be so hard on myself that at times I don't give myself enough grace. So in addition to reading my journals and listening to the way that I talk, I'm trying to tune my ear to hear when I'm not speaking to myself in the most positive way. It's not that I'm mean to myself, I just have very high standards. And so sometimes I'm like, girl, leave me alone, chill out. And so I have to like tell myself to like relax. So also, did you hear someone said that there are some people in the world who don't have internal dialogue? I don't understand what that's like. That must be, I wonder if they even know, like, can they think like, ooh, I didn't have internal thoughts right now if they don't have internal dialogue? Anyway, so yeah, so that's the thing. I've been doing a lot of morning walks, and then I realized that I love a good habit, but I also get bored very easily. So did I even press record? Oh my gosh. Oh, I am recording. Y'all forgive me. I'm really on some other stuff. So anyway, like I was saying, that really just, so I get really bored very easily and kind of easily distracted, as you can see. So I decided I have to switch things up. I can't do boring stuff. So I can barely swim, right? Let me not say that. I can kind of swim. I took swimming lessons when I was in Syracuse, had a really great instructor. Shout out to Coach Ali in Syracuse, New York, Syracuse University. So he taught me how to swim. And so I realized I can do water aerobics. And so I started doing water aerobics on the days that I couldn't go out on a morning walk. And the pool is right outside my window, like literally out there. So I like the mixture of walking, but also doing some water aerobics as well. So that's been helpful. If you're someone who is having trouble like processing your thoughts or getting in touch with your emotions or yourself, I highly recommend nature. Being outside, I always say this, we're like plants. We're like house plants. We need water, we need fresh air, and then we need sunlight. So if you're not getting any of those three things, something usually goes off balance. So you can fix it by going outside or moving your body in some way. So that was the first thing. I needed to address that. I was being very, being a homebody isn't a bad thing, but I was being very, what's the word? There's a word where you don't move from where you are. Not stagnant. Anyway, y'all know the word. If you know it, put it in the comment for me. Yeah, just lethargic feeling very sluggish, not having a lot of energy. So the next do better thing for me was to go visit a holistic doctor for the first time. I had heard someone recommend on a podcast this guy who was a great doctor that was in the general area. So I went, he looked at my blood work, gave me a lot of recommendations. I am on something called like beta food or something, some new supplements. I was running out of my old supplements. I thought might as well just try something new for the first time. And so he helped me really figure out what are some ways that I can keep myself like naturally energized. There was this time where I was trying to figure out my iron levels because I was trying to give blood, or at least figure out my blood type. If you go to donate blood, they usually tell you your blood type. Tell me why I just couldn't give blood. I went like 4 times, and each of the times my blood iron level was like just barely below the threshold that you need. And I've never thought of myself as anemic, but this was the first time like, oh, whoa, I am 32. I need to really make sure my nutrients and stuff are like as they should be. So after that holistic health appointment, and then also my fails when I was trying to give blood, I realized I got to get myself under control and start doing a little more intentional shopping for food that I have and groceries and things like that. So I actually put a category on my weekly pivot agenda that's like, these are the groceries that I'm buying and this is my meal prep. So it's just another way for me to use it. Sometimes I don't use it, but sometimes I'm able to see like, ooh, oatmeal this morning or sweet potatoes in the afternoon and things like that. All right, so here's the other game changer. Y'all, I gotta put you on game because this changed my everything. So like I said, I used to be really random, coming up with different projects, waking up in the middle of the night with cool ideas. Instead of doing that now, I have started treating my life like a business and looking at everything in quarters. Makes so much sense. I just never paid attention to quarters and financials because I just wasn't in that world. It didn't make sense to me. I more so operated on semesters because I worked in educational institutions. But all of a sudden in my current job, I'm working at a nonprofit that highly pays attention to the quarters. And so I started thinking to myself, why don't I operate under quarters as well? So what I started to do is to say, there are projects that I'm gonna do. I'm gonna limit myself to 3 projects each quarter. And I have to finish those projects to the best of my ability, or else some of it will carry over. And so with everything that's within me, I am trying my best to say, these are the only 3 projects I'm going to do. If people try to put other things in my plate, I say, I'm so sorry, I'm at capacity right now. While it sounds like a really great opportunity, I can't pursue it. I'm out of bandwidth for the quarter. How about we revisit this in another quarter? First of all, that's such a boss thing to say. Such a boss thing to say. If you aren't already saying it, please borrow it. I borrowed it from somebody else. But tell them you're at capacity, that you've signed up for all the projects that you have the ability to cover and do well. So for me, I have creative projects right now that I'm working on, and there are only 3 of them. There are people that I love that ask me to do other projects, and I'm like, hey, can we table that until quarter 4? Or it's weird to me when people are planning like quarter 1 of 2022. I'm like, what? But I guess that's what I have to do. I already have things on my calendar for quarter 4 of 2021, which is kind of cool to me. So treating my life in quarters. And so on my list right now, I have, if I open up Pivot right now, one of the things I'm working on is a paid course about pivoting, the art of the pivot. It's a paid course and it has been a lot of work. And usually I would just kind of do it at random, whatever. But now I'm like, okay, it's one of my top 3. 3 is just a great number. It's my favorite number. So I always pick a top 3 things that I'm going to try and accomplish in the quarter. So for me, this paid course is one of them. I gave myself a deadline. I gave myself 3 actionable items that go along with that big goal that I have. My goal is to launch it by the end of the month. Y'all will hear about it when I'm done with it. And so it required a lot of stuff, doing recordings, making the actual content, having the corresponding worksheets that go along with my pivot journal. There's so many things here. I have to learn sales funnels for the first time. So much going on. Typically, I'd be super overwhelmed, but this time around, I have a plan. And my plan is my pivot journal. So I'm just trying to let you all into my process because it's blowing my mind that it's taken me so long to think about quarters for my life. Because, I mean, when I tell you I've been overwhelmed, y'all, I literally had to go sit down because I just had so much stuff. And I just kept piling on stuff. I'm also reading, let me grab the book. I love this book. I've been reading it. Oops. I'm also reading this really great book called Set Boundaries, Find Peace. Such a great book because someone called it the Boundaries Bible. And I am a recovering people pleaser. I'm not afraid to say that. I am recovering, so I'm doing much better now. But before, I had no boundaries. I had no boundaries for myself, boundaries from other people. Anything people wanted me to do, I was just so impressed and so happy that people could see my talents, and I would say, yeah, stretching myself thin, not sleeping at night, like literally, I would be up doing creative projects and my hand would be shaking because I worked through my lunch, worked through dinner and forgot to eat, just not even making sense. So I had to really stop and say, let me figure out first of all, why am I not having boundaries? And then secondly, how do I get boundaries that are healthy? How do I start establishing them in a way that feels firm but not cruel? Because sometimes when you start putting boundaries on with friends and family, they're like, what are you doing? Why are you acting up? And it's not acting up, it's really like me trying to be sane so that I can have longevity. I want to live till I'm 90 plus, and at this rate, being a people pleaser, I'm not gonna make it. So I had to make some changes. I hope that doesn't sound dark. I really wanted to change some things. The reason I really like this book is that it has straight up examples, case studies about people who successfully put up boundaries. And I'm not done with it. I don't think anyone's ever done learning how to have good boundaries, but this is a really great book. I treat it like a reference book because I'm like, ooh, what did that chapter say about getting your value from helping others? Let me go find that. So I highly recommend this book. I like it so far. It's by Nedra Glover Tawwab, I think it's her last name. Really great book. Fellow Black woman, love it. Get this book if you haven't. If you don't have any resources about boundaries, that's one that I would recommend. So yeah, treating my life in quarters was another one. I think the last thing with my DoBetter Reset has to do with my finances. Y'all know that I'm debt free. So when I was debt free, I had a goal. I had a very, very intentional thing that I was going towards that helped me, that made sense. I like having projects of some sort to work towards. And not having anything finance-wise that is inspirational has been tough for me. I don't really have direction, if I'm honest with myself. I do a lot of like watching and listening to content about finances, but I'm kind of out of my element. Other than paying off my loans, strategy-wise, I don't know that much about it. If you give me a strategy and tell me to save money, I can do that. If you tell me to invest, I'm like, ooh, what's the strategy? I will do it if you tell me the strategy. And there are just so many resources that I'm almost in this state of analysis paralysis where I'm like, should I go with this person or this person or this person? And everyone's like, I want to educate you and give you so much information, which is great. And this is going to be weird for me to say. It's great, but it's almost too much information. The Budgetnista just released this really great book called Get Good with Money that I like. It seems to be pretty holistic. She has a really great, I think it's like a toolbox or something, and it has all these great resources, and she has a Facebook page with lots of resources as well. And so I have lots to learn from, but once again, it's not one of my top priorities for this quarter. It probably should be, but I have it in the back of my mind. I'm having conversations about my finances, but it's not one of the main things I'm working on. It probably should be, because on my radar, and I'll talk about this at another time, on my radar is my desire to retire early. I'm in the workforce right now, and it's good, but I'm delving into more coaching. I would love to be 40 or so and not retired fully. I like to actually work. I like working. So I don't think I could sit down and eat bonbons all day. That's literally what my sabbatical taught me. I can't just sit still for 10 years. Doesn't make sense. I will always be doing something, but I want to be able to do stuff that I love and be able to give it away and do pro bono without wondering like how I'm going to pay the bills. So I want to have wealth so that I can use it for philanthropy and ministry and other things like that. So that is one of the reasons that I want to retire early. Another one is that I want to build generational wealth for my family. I feel like I'm sounding very Hotep-like, but really it's true. I'm not gonna mince words about that. I really think that families could have more wealth, and I want to be a wealth builder in my family, and so it requires a lot of work to break through some of these places, and I need a lot of help. And so if you have resources that you really enjoy in the financial realm, let me know. I am subscribed to so many things. I listen to so much. I watch so much stuff. Like I mentioned earlier, I just don't know where to start exactly. I've sat down with so many financial advisors. I'm contributing to my 401k. I'm maxing out my Roth every year. At this point, I'm like, what else is there to do? I don't know. Perhaps make more income. I've heard people say that. Increase your income, then you can increase your savings rate. So I'm working on it, I think that's everything, y'all. I just wanted to come and do this first, just sip and sit. Is that what I call this? Sit and sip video. Just talking about how my reset is going and why the reset was necessary. I think being someone who is a high drive, let me call myself that, a high drive person, when I'm sitting still for too long, I can either just lull myself to this like stationary place where I don't move at all. Ooh, is that the word I was looking for earlier? Stationary? Anyway, the stationary place where I don't move at all, or I'm at the opposite side of the spectrum, running myself ragged. I'm learning in this stage how to rest. I'm trying to take the Sabbath seriously and like not do anything that I don't want to do, learning to say no. I'm learning to be okay with saying like, yeah, that sounds great, but I don't have the capacity for that right now. I'm gonna wear out that statement until people stop inviting me to stuff. So I still want to have friends, but this peace of mind, it's priceless. It's priceless. So that's what I'm working on. Anyway, y'all, thanks for tuning into this super random sit and sip video with me. I hope that we can have more candid conversations about things. This is just to catch you up on what's going on. More videos are coming, more vlog styles are coming. I really enjoy a good vlog, but I thought I wanted to just sit and catch up and go on from here. Bye, y'all. Cheers. Thanks for stopping by my channel. Since you're already here, you might as well watch some more videos. I have videos on minimalism, faith, finances, sustainability, all sorts of things. So check out any of these videos around here. Take care. Happy watching.